So, disclaimer, before we begin this video, I did get a lot of help from various people, mostly just hunting down these resources that they originally, spliced together and whatnot, so very handy stuff. I have tried to contact some of them, see if they were okay with me using it, and I haven't actually gotten any responses back, so there's that, but at the same time, this is kind of important information, so I think the people would understand. If not, please feel free to contact me. Just show you're the person with that actual stuff. I will credit you in whatever way, or we'll work something else out. If it means taking down the video, so be it. But I hopefully don't have to do that. I have put quite a bit of time and effort into getting this gathered. I think I'm like on hour 5 of editing this. So just a little disclaimer so you know before we begin. Anyway, let's get right into the topic. Greetings, my noble knights, it is I, Blaze Templar, and before I begin, I want to give a big shout out to the various sources I found in regards to these clips, as I wouldn't have been able to effectively collect them myself. Most notably, J. Roach at JRoachSSB and the website Dextero.com that had the links to the Reddit posts used, as well as some of the other images used, such as the images of Winkle's flighting path. These were all a little bit of a pain to get gathered, but very important. Anyway, let's get started. So our first comparison is going to be of trees in these games. Pokemon Sword and Shield in the bottom right, next to it will be Metroid Prime, a GameCube game. Above it, Breath of the Wild, and of course, Ocarina of Time. Now I gotta mention that I had to stretch the Breath of the Wild image so it looks kind of ugly, but you can still see a drastic quality difference between the Metroid Prime and Sword and Shield trees. But because of this drastic stretching, I'm going to go ahead and throw up an image of the Breath of the Wild tree that I got from GoNintendo.com during one of their reviews, so thank you for that resource. And you can just kind of see the quality difference between these games. If they're going to push quality as one of their big reasons for removing Pokemon, I'm going to be looking at it closely. So next we're going to go ahead and have a Alolan Marowak and Arcanine show up. It'll be Marowak from the games Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, while Arcanine will be from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee and Sword and Shield. Now I won't deny it takes time to shade and color in from these games just because of how much touching up has to be done, but it's the same model. You can see it here, no problem. There has been shading and some work done on the base model, and that has happened, a minor enhancement between the two, which again will take work, but not nearly as much as creating entirely new models, and they were future-proofed for this exact purpose, just to save time and energy, and it was a good idea. But if you're going to use that, you can't really argue that as well, I think. But these are, again, demonstrations and showing that, yes, these models are from the older games. Now, obviously, the newer Pokemon will have their own models, but that's another story. So, I have to confirm, I am not a programmer of video games. That is relatively obvious as I do gaming on YouTube, but I have done coding, if you will, for web design and computer work. I have done that sort of coding, hardwire. Not a lot of fun, it's very boring, very technical, but I have done that sort of thing in the past. And also another thing I have to note is I've actually worked on not video games, but regular games like board games and tabletops. And one of the things you learn very quickly is you design engines to work for you. This saves you so much time and energy, just makes your life so much more convenient, effective, etc. It's something you do if you want it to be working for you, shall we say. So anyway, that being said, when you design systems, you put them in place just to speed up the process, make it a lot more easy on your team, on yourself, etc. And that includes how you program Pokemon in. You would do that naturally, you would have your models, and you can actually import those things after you've upgraded and modified them, that sort of thing. It just comes with the territory. So that's another reason why I'm not really buying it, but I'm trying to be as neutral as possible and just focus on facts. So I'm going to leave it at that and just continue with more evidence showing problems that were noticed by fans. And naturally, when you do this, you're going to have bias just immediately. So I'm going to try to leave it at that. Anyway, let's keep moving on. Otherwise, I'm going to ramble here forever. Next, we do have Jay Roach's tweet. I have kept the title in there just so you can confirm. There was a lot of laughter, so I muted it. But in it, you can see a lot of the issues, such as a hop for the animation, when this is supposed to be a big deal, and that's the animation. Pop-ups from Steelix, pop-ups from trainers, just when you start to get in. Robotic movement from Pokemon trainers, AI ones obviously. Just those sorts of issues are a big problem. From there, we're going to go ahead and move to our electromagnetically gliding Wingull. This looks like they were placed in by an AI algorithm. It was probably, there are supposed to be this many Pokemon in this area, and just throw them in and have them continue to follow their animations with maybe a little bit of movement. This works, but if you're going to go ahead and encourage there to be a higher standard of quality for your animations and stuff, this first-year student took and created a Wingull model from scratch, textured it, painted it, all that on Blender. I'm sure the Pokemon Company has a lot better programs for that. Game Freak. If not, well, there's a bigger problem than just everything else. Rigging, which again is just how the Pokemon would move and whatnot, how it would hang, if you will, and all that fun stuff. I'm not as familiar with the artwork, but you can see in 25 hours or 24 hours, he was able to do that from scratch, compared to the electromagnetically gliding big Wingull. Another problem, that was from Big Daddy Gorilla, from Reddit as well, so good work on his part, just demonstrating, and yeah, he's got a point with the deserve better, I think, but again, I'm trying to stay just pointing out. And next, we need to move on to our trainer who has the superpower of being able to levitate, not touching the ground, that has very little texture. Again, animation quality, if you're going to go for it, go for it. Next, this is a demonstration of one of my personal favorite games, Pokemon Stadium 2. I loved it, had amazing animations, and it just looked good. Admittedly, the Pokemon Stadium games didn't have as much to code in, but the fact that they still have better animations than today's is a bit of a problem. Anyway, that's just stuff I wanted to go over, and I just wanted to confirm that this was via the website Dextero and Reddit user MM245, so thank you very much. And these are just a number of issues that fans have noticed, so I just wanted to get these things pointed out, get them out there, and have people think about them a little bit. Pokemon fans, I believe we deserve better, and that's why I'm kind of raising a stink over it. That, and of course the fact that these Pokemon mean a lot to me and so many others. So, there you have it. Now, you may be wondering, do I find the people who play these games or whatever to be horrible people, or do I think you can't have fun with these games? Of course not. I'm sure, even if I picked it up, I'd be able to find some fun in these games. I am critiquing these games, not because I hate Pokemon, but because I love Pokemon. I need this to be understood, and that's what most fans are doing. They're critiquing it because they love it and they want to protect it. They want to make sure that people can enjoy this generations in the future, not see it die. And like I said, I'm sure you can enjoy it. I'm sure I'd enjoy it if I'd pick it up. But as it stands right now, with the issues at hand, with the removal of so many core features and mechanics and whatnot, I personally will not be picking up these games. If you want to, go right ahead. I am not going to try to stop you. You have that right. But I think we need to be very clear to Game Freak that we're not accepting of this quality. We know they can do better. We know Pokemon can be better. It's the largest media franchise on the planet. It's outstripped Star Wars. Star Wars! By like 13 billion. So I think we should expect a little bit more. And that's really what the final point I have is. Anyway, I'm leaving it at that. Thank you for watching. I know this was a kind of different video for me, and I'm not going to do these very often. This is probably the last or second to last video that I do of this. I am going to try to host a debate about the topic, letting fans of these games defend them, and people who are against Game Freak's decisions explain why they are. This is kind of my personal note, if you will, so about the quality animations and whatnot, and I'm going to try to leave it at that. I might not be able to, just because I really love Pokemon again, but that's going to be my attempt. Anyway, I'll leave it, like I said, at that. Goodbye. So I was going to end it there, but unfortunately there was some more details I needed to add, and those include some of the animations, just some more animation quality things that I noticed during the E3 trailer personally, and that is the Scald animation and the Flame Charge animation, which in previous generations have been at least decent looking, and in some cases absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at Black and White 2's Draco Meteor. That is one of the coolest animations for an attack, like, ever. So we've had some pretty incredible ones, and Sword and Shield demonstrated this. Not a good showing. Anyway, I could be proven wrong by Game Freak, and they might actually pull out the big guns and just kind of go, haha, well, about that, I win, so there. Anyway, that's all I had there. Goodbye. I'm sorry for adding once again to this, but I've put a lot of time and effort into this video, and so if you liked it, if you thought there was some good information here, feel free to share it. I would really appreciate that. It'd mean a lot to me, just because, yeah, a lot of time and effort went into this video. So until then, thanks. Goodbye.